to Zorpazorp Gaming. My name's Lachie and welcome to a new Power Rises. We've got a 300-point good evil tournament today, and my first matchup for the day is the wonderful Mark Tribe from Toowoomba. We're both bringing two armies, and we do a roll-up at the start of the game to see who uses what army. So it's going to be very interesting. We're on a beautiful little Rohan board. I am running Earl the Young and 300 points of mounted Rohan, and then my evil army is the Witch King with a whole bunch of Angmar, bit of a horde. Marky, what are you bringing?
I'm bringing Lachie led by Haldir and Warrior led by Zorpazorp.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a the Silverlode clash with the goblins fleeing out of Moria and chasing into Lothlorien. Very cool. So we're going to do our roll-up. Whoever rolls highest gets to pick which force they choose, and guaranteed, I think, I'll pick Rohan because then I can shoot his goblins, and he'll pick elves so that he can shoot my Angmar. So that's pretty much what's going to happen. Right, let's do it. Oh, a big 4 and a 1. Rohan is playing on the Rohan board. Let's dive into it. We'll jump into the game. So Rohan have gone down in the first round. Mark's scrappy Moria, I nearly said Mordor. I gave you Mordor dice. The Moria models have jumped on and absolutely swarmed my Rohan. It was Maelstrom, and the big mistake I made was I half moved half of my Rohan cavalry archers so that I could shoot depending on where Mark came on, and then he got a great roll, came in right behind me, was able to set up a charge for next turn, and I should have just let those two cav archers die and just rode off. And we were fighting in this tiny little choke point. I threw in one son of Earl to save them. He and those, I lost what, 2 sons and 2 riders on the first turn. Then the next turn I tried to save them again, lost another 2 cavalry. By turn 3 or 4 I was broken, and Earl the Young hadn't even been in combat. It was really well played by you, Marky. Excellent. Using the terrain and the woods really hurt me. In the end, you controlled all of the table quarters bar 1 over here in the far corner, which I just tied up, right? That was your shaman.
Yeah,
a single goblin.
He got in at the end.
Yeah. And there's also a couple of bonus objectives in this tournament. So every match, you get an extra 5 tournament points, and I think is a win 30, Dan? A win's 30, so I got an extra 5 for getting first blood and for not spending any fate because I just let Earl die so I could get that. And Mark, you got your 5 for
controlling the artifact.
Oh yeah, there's a little artifact in the middle.
And then Derb's got the final blow on.
Yeah,
Earl.
cool.
Yeah.
Leader killing leader. Yeah. So we both got 2 bonus objectives, but I got absolutely cleaned out 8-0. I only had like a couple of cavalry archers left, kind of contesting objectives, which is their job. Yeah, I got broken pretty hard. How many goblins did I kill? Like 5 or 6 goblins? Rough. The dice weren't great, but my tactics were worse. And bad dice punish you for shit tactics. So should have just ridden off and shot you. What was I doing? Anyway, great game. Well played. Who was the MVP?
No, Dirk, for sure. He set up a lot of heroic combat, used his might well, and the dice, again, like you said, the strategy with the dice,
it was good.
It paid off in the end.
Yeah, 2 heroic combats in a row on turn 2 and turn 3 with Derbs wrapped in and killed them, and I didn't get a single might point with Earl, so I only had the 3. So I kept spending them a little frivolously, hoping I'd get some back, and by the end of it I had no board control. But yeah, absolutely gnarly. Well, we'll check back with the rest of the tournament, man. We'll see how you go, and we'll do a little touch-ups. But good luck. Hopefully you get to run your Lothlorien next. We'll see how we go. Maybe I'll switch up to Angmar. See how we go. All right, good luck, man. Talk soon. Thank you.
And third was going to shoot back.
Game number 2, a big swing for Rohan. It was a bit of a massacre for the poor old Easterlings for Julian. I didn't lose a model, I don't think, did I? No, and I tabled Jules. He split up his Easterlings. He probably should, I reckon, kept the cataphracts together to help me, because I sort of was just able to pick off the different bits of the army. The objective was destroy the supplies. My sons and Earl ran all the way around and destroyed all of his supplies, and my riders and outriders managed to keep your cataphracts at bay. And now the bonus objectives, Kabul didn't spend any fate, so you scored that one, and then I scored all 4. I captured the objective, no fate spent. I killed Kamul with my leader Aeon, and I did whatever the other one was, my first blood. Lucky outrider. So a bit savage, it was a tough matchup, but very, very, very good spirits and an enjoyable game. Thanks, man, and good luck with the rest of the tournament.
Beast. And the beast was
Round number 3 here at A New Power Rises, and it is divide and conquer against the amazing, the wonderful, the brilliant, the handsome Ryan Trays. And you're running some sneaky Gondor today. You won the roll-up and chose terribly.
Yeah.
What have you done?
Well, I haven't run my Gondor yet. I stayed up all night painting it. You haven't run your Angmar yet.
Exactly. It's going to be good. So the Angmar Spice is coming. I've got the Witch King and then like 18 dudes. There's mostly orcs, a couple of Wild Riders, a couple of Spectres and a banner in there. Tell us about Gondor.
So I've run a bit of a themey list, so a bit of Osgiliath action, just like the speech in the Two Towers sort of thing.
Oh, like up on the, with the Gondor, except he doesn't have the banner and it's Boromir of Gondor.
This is the moment they separate.
Oh, like he's leaving.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool.
So I've got Boromir on his horse.
Yep.
On his own, because he's the Fellowship.
Yeah, 1 warband drop.
And I've got Denethor with some 3 guards of the Fountain Court just to keep him in check.
Yeah, cool.
And then I've got
Broken Mind.
But because I got Boromir here, he should be sweet.
Okay, cool.
Until he dies.
And
then he's broken.
Yeah. Does he still take the test even if Boromir's alive?
If he's alive, he's sweet.
Okay.
But as soon as he dies, he automatically
Yeah, it's
fails.
just when he's on his own. That's yeah.
And because I've taken a yellow ally, I don't get +1 courage. So
true. And then you got a little bit of cav as well. And
yeah, I got 2 Citadel Guard on the horse with the bow. I've got
like
1
bodyguards. This is so baby. This is cool.
And then I've just got some scrubs from just warriors, all with shield and 2 have a bow as well. So
are they Osgiliath veterans?
no veterans,
just warriors.
I've tried to make it Osgiliath-esque though, so they've all got a bit of rulings on the base. It's all Osgiliath sort of thing.
Alright, awesome. Well, we're playing divide and conquer. Yes.
Correct.
And there's 3 objectives in the center, 1 in the dead middle and 2 on the center line. It's all about that central one. That's heavily weighted. Our warbands are split up. Luckily, I've got 1 warband, and Ryan's got Boromir in this corner, and way over there is the rest of the Gondor. So, let's dive into it, dude. Good luck.
Good luck.
Alright, well, that was a huge game. How did you describe my playstyle through the game, Ryan?
Yeah, it was like you were Doctor Strange doing like a real-time analysis of every single possible move you could do, and then wondering what everything else could do. Meanwhile, I watched this and I saw some of your logic there, and some of it didn't make sense, but it was fine. I just let you go.
Yeah, fair.
And you're making decisions on characters that you thought would do this.
Yeah, that was the big one. So it ended up being a draw, which was I got really focused on the ring wraith and just forgot to fall back some of my infantry to capture one of the objectives.
Yeah, I capitalised on that.
Boromir.
Yeah. So jumped in and got a cheeky objective. It wasn't the main objective, but it was enough to get me a couple of points.
Yeah.
So the middle one was congested, and then you were kicking yourself because you could have killed the dude contesting it.
Yeah. So there was mistakes all around.
Yeah, there was mistakes all around. I think it was, time pressure tournament. We only got about 4 turns.
I think that I started really well. I got lots of control in place, lots of board control with the Spectres doing stuff.
Yeah, the Spectres early game were really good because I thought I could just shoot it off the board.
Yeah.
Even with 4 archers, I could probably just pick away until get gone.
Yeah.
Ended up getting the first blood with the bow, which was good.
True.
And I was like, oh, we're good here. But then the guy started doing the thing. Totally forgot. Both of us forgot about the bodyguard rules.
Citadel guard,
Yeah, so
I killed one of them. Which I shouldn't have.
Yeah, but still, that's how I'm going to learn to get that.
Yeah, true. I should know. I play Royal Guard all the time, but I forgot completely.
We both forgot. And then it was just like, oh, okay, so that happened, and that changed things a little bit on that side. And there was an unlucky night charge by me, but it was still a risky charge.
Yeah, that's true. Charged into 2 orcs, and then I bumped him off and took his horse away. So
it was crazy.
Yeah.
That guy still ended up being the contesting guy at the end. So
it was important.
He still did a good job. So I had it's a brand new model too, which I just recently.
Very nice. Doing well for you.
It was a cool looking miniature, and he performed well. So that's the main thing.
I think the main mistake, apart from the positioning, was I thought Denethor had might for some reason. So I set up to defend the objective from a heroic combat that was never coming, when I should have just killed the only model that was there, and that would have been another way that I probably should have won.
Yeah,
but
the Doctor Strange outcomes. There was a few good outcomes there, but I think it was thinking of too many.
Too tired.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, good game, dude. Good luck with round number 3. You've played a mix of force now, right? And used your
well, that was the first time I used Gondor. So
Okay.
Urukai, Gondor.
Yeah.
And then I shouldn't have really chose to use Gondor because Gondor, with very low will, low fate heroes taking on a Witch King.
Yeah.
Still a dumb idea. Still got to use them though, because that was the only time I've been able to use them so far.
Yeah,
so it was worth doing, and then you got to use it.
Yeah, which is cool.
There was some good merits to it. So it was still fun.
Awesome. Well, good luck for the round number 3, yeah?
Good luck.
See you later. So I said we'd check in with Mark throughout the day. That didn't happen, but now we're checking in a very special way. The top of the table. The top of the table is pretty tight because Marky's gone away and had 2 wins, and it's a bit of a tight pull today. So we're playing again, and we're just swapping armies. So I'm using my Angmar this time, and you've got. Tell us about it.
Got Lothlorien, so Haldir, Stormcallers, some Sentinels, a little bit of. Just a bit of shooting, a bit of stay away, throw some daggers, pull some magic.
Yeah, the whole army's resistant to magic through the special rule, and lots of bows. So I would have been terrified of this, but luckily we're starting really close together because of the objectives. So I should be able to mitigate the bows a little bit. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We're controlling objectives. We're playing Breakthrough, another one of the new scenarios. Essentially, there's 4 objectives, and the weighting of the points that they're worth is different for each player. The ones deeper in the enemy deployment zone are worth more, so it's all about breaking the enemy lines to get the objectives behind them. So, let's do it, man. Good luck. Pretty good result to finish the day for Rohan. Not Rohan, what am I playing? Angmar for Lachie. We got up there, we started close, there was 1 round of shooting and you missed with everything.
Everything.
No wounds at all. I got in, choppy, lots of defense 3. The Witch King did, in the first round, what happened, Mark?
One of my Sentinels called his little song and pushed the Witch King, his 10-inch move back out. So
he just buggered up, basically.
He sat back for a little while, but it didn't last very long.
Witch King took a while to get involved, but then he threw a couple of spells. Mate, you resisted on 6, twice, I think, with your resistance to magic, so that was pretty good. But then, and the fight veil of your elves, the shielding wood elves with spears, stopped 2 big heroic combats going off, so they didn't do nothing, but I think I lost 4 orcs in the end.
Yeah, it wasn't my idea.
It felt like it was close, but I just, they're so soft, aren't they?
Once you get them into contact on moment.
Yeah, so I just, once I broke his lines, once I broke through, as per the scenario, I kind of spread to all the objectives, and then the only model you had left was Haldir, right? Went down to quarter, and that was it. So 10-0. You got first blood though.
I did, yeah.
How did you do that? Was that bows?
Yeah, I think I potted someone off.
So maybe you did get a kill with bows. I don't know. I can't remember.
It's been a long day.
Yeah. Who knows? I think probably the biggest play for me was the Warg Rider on the first charge, launching in and just killing the Stormcaller.
Yep.
And if you'd been able to knock the Wargs and the Ringwraith off the horse and everything, that would have been big.
Failed his fate.
Yeah, he just died. So that was like 60 points gone. So it was an early momentum swing, and I just capitalized from there, I think. But yeah, so you got first blood. I didn't use any fate, and I picked up the relic. So who knows where we'll end in the table, man? You're 2-0, right? 2-2? Oh, 2-2.
Yeah,
not 2-2. That makes sense. That's not 4. 2 plus 0. And I went 2-1-1. The draw, courtesy of the man currently holding the camera. So yeah, so I think we'll be up there. I think
it's 1-1 between you and I, too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah, we have a grudge match.
Yes, yeah, we do. Cool.
Grudge match.
Yeah, it should be good. So I think I will have slipped off the podium now with my cheeky Ryan defeat or draw. But we'll see. We'll see how we go. Good tournament, dude. Let's go find out the rankings.
I just wanted to say big thank you to everyone who rocked up today, and everyone who submitted their list on time. It was really, really, really close. Those bonus objectives really did mix up the field in those last 2 rounds, which is kind of what I was hoping for. This is where it gets a bit juicy. I don't think there's any real guess as to who came first, but coming in at 3rd, we have Lachie.
Oh, you got me, Ryan! You tell that boy,
That's alright, man.
Oh, podium run continues.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem. We have Ryan coming in 2nd place. Hitting it with your bonus objectives, man. So we have your voucher, certificate, and some Zorpazorp bases.
Thanks, Dan.
Not a problem. And absolutely running home with it, we have, of course, Pat. Thanks for that, man.
So 2 wins, a loss, and a draw, taking me to 3rd place. And my podium run continues. That's 5 podiums in a row from the last 5 tournaments, which is pretty cool. Probably could have placed a bit higher with, some better sleep. Losing that first game was brutal. Mark played really well, but man, I played terribly. And then some really silly errors costing me in the game against Ryan. I, should have definitely had that one. I should have scored the center objective and the objective on the right. Literally just got so caught up in the Witch King and what I thought Denethor was going to do, which he can't even do because he doesn't have might. I completely forgot to fall back my 2 infantry to hold the objective and get out of Boromir's charge range. And so Boromir charged him, killed him, took that objective, and then we ended up tying because that broke me as well. So an extra 3 kind of VP elements that really shouldn't have been there if I was not as exhausted. But in saying that, I did manage to, because Ryan and I got the draw, we both submarined and dodged Pat in the final round. So, my final round might have been a lot harder against Pat. And in the end, 2nd and 3rd never ended up playing first, which is funny how that sort of stuff happens in these smaller sorts of tournaments. But it was an awesome event, and I absolutely love the good-evil format. Bringing 2 armies, I think small points is the way to do that, because it's easy to kind of get sort of, it's really annoying to be like swapping your armies back and forth if they're really big. So I think 300 points is awesome for a good evil event. You bring 2 armies, you roll off, you pick which one. I don't know about doing a roll off and then the highest roll off chooses. I feel like it should be just completely random if you use your good or your evil army. Obviously, the pairing still stands, but one player rolls a dice, and if they roll a 4, 5, 6, they use their good. If they roll a 1, 2, 3, they use their evil, then the other person uses the opposite pairing. I think that might be better rather than, because it's such a tactical advantage to be able to choose just off one roll off. But I love the format. I love bringing 2 armies. I love only playing good versus evil, which is how the game was intended when it was originally written, of course. So it's just really, really fantastic. And for our calendar, it's a great little spacer as well. We have the madness of Ardor Unleashed in January, then this awesome little event here at the start of March, and then BrizCon is just around the corner in the middle of April. So, can I podium again in BrizCon? BrizCon is a 1,000 escalation event, 1,000 points. So the armies are 200, 450, 600, 800, 1,000. And that poses an interesting challenge, and we'll sort of have a chat about what I've learnt from today in a sec, but I know I'm looking forward to BrizCon, and straight away I want to run Riders of Theoden, because Riders of Theoden will dominate everyone at 1,000 points, at 800 points, and it's pretty good at 600 points. It's not great at 450, and it's terrible at 200. So I'm a bit like,
Aeol the Young was amazing today at 300 points, and he'd still be great at 200 points. But then I'm locked into that because it's an escalation format, so I'd be moving up to try and build a 1,000 point Aeol the Young list, which is going to be trash, basically. But there's the BrizCon, all the games are weighted the same in terms of points, and you play the smaller point sizes twice. There's 2 200 point games and 2 450 point games. 450 points of Aeol the Young? That's awesome. And then maybe I bring in Gondor and some bolt throwers or something, really cheese it up with the extra shooty stuff, and do a green alliance there with a King of Men to represent Kyrian. So maybe there's a 1,000 point Aeol the Young list out there. But normally I'd never say there is, but because of BrizCon, because of the escalation format, it's going to change the way we write lists. And that's a really kind of nice talking point, I think, is having tournaments like this that are really flavorful, that are really different. It's the best thing about Middle-earth, the best thing about SBG. It forces you to have all these cool list writing challenges. I would never run Aeol the Young if we didn't have a weird 300-point tournament. And now I'm considering running him for BrizCon. That's crazy. I would have thought to do that. I absolutely... Oh, Sons of Earl, man. They were huge. So let's in the Rohan vein, let's talk about what we learned from today. Aeol the Young... he's great. I didn't get to annihilate with him. He absolutely dominated poor Julian's Easterlings. He killed Kamul the Easterling and a whole bunch of dudes. But that was you know, he was just doing what he does. It wasn't sort of mind-blowing stuff. I went pretty poorly in terms of getting the might back. I didn't get a single might point back with Legendary Hero in Mark's game, and I got 2 might back. So I think I ended up spending that would have been 7 might, and only getting 2 back. So yeah, that was below odds, but you can certainly see that extra bit of might is certainly useful. But I don't know if it's enough. Rohan needs gambling and needs the might machine. That's all those synergies are all about, having that might. And it was interesting playing Rohan without infinite might this weekend. So yeah, really, really interesting. Sons of Aeol are amazing. They're cheaper than they used to be. They were 22 points in the old edition, and when they're with Aeol, they're just as good. And they're 2 attacks, 3 attacks on the charge, they're fight 4, they're strength 5 on the charge with the army bonus, and then you can piercing strike to strength 6. I was piercing striking against Easterlings and wounding them on 4s with my Sons of Aeol. And it feels weird to piercing strike, but because they're such expensive models. 1 wound, defense 6, could go down to defense 3, but there's such an opportunity to piercing strike with them when you pair them up in unlosable situations. Then they just dominate somebody and keep on moving. 6 attacks with knockdown. Absolutely savage. So yeah, Aeol the Young, and of course you can bring Outriders a lot more, because you've got the Sons of Earl to pad out your bow count for Outriders, and then the rest of them could be normal riders. So yeah, it was actually really, really effective at 300 points. The list didn't lose me my first game, my tactics did. So yeah, really awesome to finally run Aeol. And then we have the Angmar side of things. Angmar's obviously filth. It's an awesome list. The control that you can get, the specters, zipping stuff around. I didn't take many bows, but I got lucky in my second game with them and deployed nice and close, and I deployed ages away on the first time I used them against Ryan, but was still able to sort of use specters to bring a few models close and kind of get a bit of an engage. So yeah, I loved Angmar. I was really tired, absolutely exhausted. I only got like 3.5 hours sleep the night before because I was painting so much Rohan, which you guys will see in a little hobby vlog coming up soon. But the level of thought required for running Angmar and doing all their shenanigans is quite a lot. And poor Ryan, I think we got through 5 turns in about 45 minutes to an hour, which is not okay. I mean, we were filming, so that slows us stuff down. But so I did slow the game up a little bit with my paralytic decision making. What he called it, he said I had analysis paralysis, which I thought was good. So yeah, you definitely need a bit more practice with them before I run them at big points. But I've always loved Angmar, and I've never played them properly in tournaments. But I've always had this dream of running lots of Spectres, the Witch King, probably Gullivar. I've been wanting to do that for years, just because I love this. I love the shenanigans. And now that with the new edition, everyone causes terror when they're within 6 inches of a spirit. And I didn't realize that the Spectres are spirits. I was just basing that off the Witch King, but the Spectres create the terror bubble as well. Absolutely awesome. There is an orcs, man. Everyone's like, orcs. They're so cheap. for just a fight 3, strength 3, defense 5 model. There's nothing wrong with that for like 6 points. That's awesome. That's good value. You pack those numbers out, it's still a dice. It's still an attack. And now it causes terror. So absolutely savage. So I really enjoyed using Angmar, and I really enjoyed using Rohan with Ael the Young. Both contenders to move forward to BrizCon, actually. I don't know if I'll swing to Angmar. I'd have to do a lot of painting to get up to 1,000 points. But I feel like Ael the Young could be a Rohan candidate. Otherwise, I'm going to have to think about some very clever ways to build my Riders of Theoden list for 1,000 points. I lost my first game at BrizCon last year. I did make a couple of silly errors, but 200 points is so knife edge, and when you only have Theoden and 5 Royal Guard, there's just not much you can do if Theoden sort of can go down, whereas Ael the Young and like, what will we get? Probably only like 4 Sons of Ael. That would be pretty solid. That will be because, you know, Ael's a lot more durable. That could be really interesting. So yeah, definite potential. But anyway, thanks so much for watching this little tournament vlog, guys. I love doing these because it just gives a nice little glimpse into the different tournament scenes, and it just gives me talking points to have a bit of a chat with you guys like we just did now. So yeah, really, really fun stuff. And you guys get to see a little bit of the flavor of the different meta that's around. 300 points is a weird one, so we saw lots of cool stuff. I really liked Mark's 2 armies. Moria is awesome. I love the goblins. I love the blend of weird stuff, and I liked Lothlorien as well. Shooty, cloaks, daggers, lots of fun stuff there. There was lots of Ugluk scouts at this tournament. There was lots of Rohan. There was another Ael the Young list, which was Tim, who came 4th in the end. He was in the final game. He was playing Pat, and they were 1st and 2nd, and he lost so hard he dropped to 4th, and then Ryan and I snuck up ahead of him. Poor Tim was filthy. So he was running Ael the Young. There was another Rohan there. Reese brought Theoden, which I thought at 300 points wasn't going to work, just because Theoden's not strong enough to do anything. He's a buff machine, and he's not really buffing much, so you're not getting enough value out of his points. He brought a captain as well, but I see that merit, trying to get extra might in there. But I think Ael the Young's definitely a better choice at 300 points. I think Reese might now agree after wooden spooning. I don't know how many times he played Rohan, though. He brought Ugluk Scouts, though, as his second army, which I thought was going to be killer in this tournament. So, yeah, lots of really interesting lists at 300 points. If you guys like seeing these little tourney vlogs, please let me know down in the comments, because they are really fun for me to put together. It kind of allows me to go and play games and still feel like I'm doing work, which is good. Yeah, it makes me, it assuages the guilt of going and rolling dice, because it all needs to be work. I'm so busy right now. So busy. We got some awesome Middle-earth content on the way. We're just about to film the Battle Company's final for Season 1, and there's a whole lot more extra goodies coming just around the corner. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time right here on Zorpazorp Gaming. Cheers, guys.